So most cold emails that I get in my inbox every day are just plain bad, right? It's clearly templatized, sending to 25,000 or more people, weak or no personalization, and there's no actual reason that they even reached out to me, and there's no clear reason why I should respond, right? The offer just isn't even there. So the whole point of today is to kind of break down some emails that I get in my inbox, show you how we would rewrite them, and so that you can get writing some cold emails that work for you and get you a bunch of leads as well. My name is Manav Makija. I am the founder and CEO over at Rendition. This page very briefly details some of our social proof and the work we've done for some of our clients. We generated over 4,000 interested leads for our clients last year with over $12 million in pipeline generated. And we get responses from almost the entire Fortune 500. So you can trust that we have some idea of what we're doing. And so without really playing around too much, let's just get into it. So first email is here. It's from Ruben Shears. It says, I'll just read it out. Hello, Manav. Do you have the capacity to take on additional clients? I frequently connect people needing services with consultants like yourself. Let me know if this interests you and I'll send more info. And there's a signature. All right, cool. So just taking a look at this from the lens of a kind of a lizard brain buyer who is getting this email among 1,000 other ones in their inbox every single day. What I'm going to read this as is, okay, the most generic question in existence. Do you have the capacity to take on additional clients? Sure, you can frequently connect people needing services, right? Like, sure, you do that. Okay. What we like to call this type of email internally is basically a bait and switch, where what they're doing is trying to lure you in by asking the easiest question in the world to say yes to, which is, do you need more clients? Obviously, like, who doesn't, right? You're emailing an agency guy and being like, hey, do you want more clients? Obviously, right? So what's happening here is that they're trying to bait you into saying a yes. Then what's going to happen is you're going to say yes. Then they'll come back to you and say, all right, awesome. Let's book a call. We can show you exactly all about our system that we'll install in your business that generates all the super cool sales ideas and runs all your ads for you and gets you a bunch of clients, right? That's what the response is going to be when you say yes. And so you as a buyer, probably having responded to one of these emails, because make no mistake, if you're targeting B2B companies, these people have been receiving cold emails since cold email started before 2020, right? So this is not some new tactic or strategy that they've never seen before, right? They would have seen this, and that's a thought. So say that somebody still believes them and says, all right, let's learn more about them. What's going to happen is they'll go to their website. Here's their website. It's just this link. And just looking at this, double your cash collected using our sales funnels. There you go. Like I said, it's a fully done for you marketing agency. Big surprise, right? Helping online coaches, consultants, and agencies scale their business. Before I talk about anything else, I want to take a quick tangent here and just mention that this is not an ICP, an ideal client profile. What this is just a description of a couple types of businesses that have nothing in common other than that they like making money and they like selling things to businesses, right? Like, beyond that, I mean, what is an agency, a coach, and a consultant doing that has that much in common in the actual deliverables that they do? Sure, they make more, they help your clients make more leads or something like that, right? But anyway, they have decent social proof. Obviously, they have a Spotify that definitely makes me wonder who are these people. That's quite interesting. And they have their blurb, kind of what's going on. It looks like their main thing is your funnel is leaking cash. We can help you fix it because of low conversions, unqualified leads, and low close rates, right? Okay, so now we kind of understand what they're actually talking about, how they can solve it with higher conversion rates, more qualified sales calls, and more deals closed, right? Here's their promise, I guess their offer. In 90 days, we'll help you double the cash collected on your sales calls or webinars. And we do this by designing funnels that are engineered to convert. Okay, that makes sense, right? This is all cool. It's, typically exactly what you would expect in an ads agency that works with a lot of info guys. Yeah, they'll make your offer, they'll create the VSL, they'll make the whole funnel build and all the other stuff. Basically, in practice, it's we create a talking head video ad. They're going to throw it on Meta or Facebook, whatever, and just drive you to like a landing page with a VSL on it. Have a quick, maybe an opt-in, maybe not, probably a quick little type form with a Calendly at the end of it with a qualification. Then they're going to pickle it all back to Meta with ideally a custom event tracking, and that'll be that. And that's their whole service, right? It makes sense for lots of business owners who don't have something like that set up, who can actually generate clients from ads. Absolutely makes a lot of sense. So now what we're going to do is actually rewrite the email that they've done, which I spent a little bit of time on and actually rewrote it. So here's the actual email that I would send instead. And just to give you a quick peek at this, right? Here's the email that I would send instead. Hey, first name, looking at your sales funnel, seeing it's mainly a website opt-in leading to a book a call page. How are you making sure prospects are actually reading the most important parts of your website and pre-call material before speaking with you? Asking, as funnels with content marketing systems can decrease your B2B sales cycle by as much as 2 weeks and increase close rates to 25% or more. Want me to send over the funnel we built for you? So when I was creating this email, the logic was, how can we use AI to actually be personalized in that we look at somebody's true sales funnel, looking at their website, maybe it's a start a free trial button, maybe it's as simple as it's a website opt-in leading to a Calendly book a call page. And if you look at my funnel, right, it's nothing crazy complex. It's literally a website opt-in to a book a call page, right? It'll send you there, then you press this button, and then it just takes you to Calendly, right? That's how that looks. So yeah, a lot of times that's kind of how that's going to be. But yeah, so the whole point here of this email is very simply just, let's break it down line by line. In the first line, it is creating a little bit of understanding and rapport and just showing that you did a little bit of work up front to show this business owner that, okay, you actually know something about my funnel. Maybe you can give him some qualified advice. And you can use AI to write this entire thing. It's really not that crazy of a workflow to actually do it. You can build it in Clay. The next line is what we call a poke the bear question. We get this from a guy named Josh Braun. He is really amazing at sales. Definitely recommend you check out some of his content. But basically, it's a poke the bear question. How are you making sure prospects are actually reading the most important parts of your website and pre-call material before speaking with you? The whole point of this question is to get the prospect thinking about the actual outcome that you drive, right? The outcome you drive is better, more qualified sales in a shorter time, right? Basically, on their website, it's double your cash in 90 days, right? Like, this makes sense. Okay, cool. So now what the case ends up being is quite simply just, how are you making sure prospects are actually reading the most important parts of your website and pre-call material before speaking with you? So me as an agency owner with this exact funnel is now thinking, okay, I don't know how I'm tracking this. I wonder how that's happening. Then you give the reason why you're asking in the first place, which is that funnels with content marketing systems can decrease your B2B sales cycle. So what we've done here is provided the reason why we're asking this poke the bear question, which very clearly leads into our unique mechanism for why you should even consider working with us and the results that we can drive. And so in this case, in this sentence alone, what we've done is justified why we're asking this question. We've also explained our unique mechanism very briefly, and we've created our offer with the exact outcome that the reader can expect to achieve as a result of working together, right? So this is the most important sentence in the entire email, except perhaps even this one, right? You can get these two sentences correct, but if you mess up this one, then none of it's really going to matter. However, even if you were to mess up this sentence and say something completely out of left field, this sentence here, the last one, is going to be your saving grace, because this is the actual offer of the email itself, not just the service. What do I mean by that? It's essentially just a lead magnet and your chance to prove your competence to your leads up front before they ever get on a call with you, right? It's exceptionally difficult these days to get a B2B professional on a call right off the first email. And so take my word for this, what you have to do is prove competence up front so that the B2B professional that you're actually having a conversation with has some conviction and confidence that, okay, maybe this person has something valuable to offer and could genuinely be something that makes us money. Because from their shoes, it's just another random sending another one of another 10, 20,000 cold emails who's just trying to solicit my business. Like, okay, right? And so when you do something like this, you're proving competence up front. In this case, logistically, what you could do is quite simply create an example funnel, and it could be for any different type of business that you're reaching out to. And if you segment your list by, say, cold email people or ads people or SEO people or whatever that is, or coaches, consultants, agencies, you segment the list out by each type, then you have your own sample funnel for each type of agency, and you send them the exact funnel. And the whole point of this is touching on a point that Alex Hormozi talks about a lot, which is reveal the secrets, sell the implementation, right? It's quite simple. Them, your prospect, as a busy B2B professional managing a team of people reporting to you, your CEO, a million other things, doesn't have time to go in and sit there and implement the work themselves. Plus, if you can show that you are the expert who knows what they're doing, they're going to want to work with you. So yeah, quite simply, this is your chance to really prove competence. And if you take the extra second to do a little bit of work and give them a little bit of free work, which can be templatized, you're going to increase your conversion rate from X number of emails sent to Y number of clients closed by a significant amount. So yeah, you'll get more interested replies, you'll get more meetings booked, and you'll get more clients out of the whole thing if you prove your competence up front. So that's kind of the whole point here. There we go, done and dusted. Here's email number 1. Now let's move on to email number 2. This has the subject line enrichment question. I'm like, okay, me as a cold email agency guy, I see the word enrichment at least once a day. So sure, I'll open it up, but I know it's a cold email. Hi, Mona, quick question. Are you still struggling with enrichment tools? Right out of the gate, I really don't like this first sentence, because why would I be struggling with enrichment tools, right? What makes you think I'm struggling? What you don't want to do in your preview sentence is use emotionally charged language like, are you still struggling with X, right? It makes you as the prospect, if you're not struggling with it, feel like, okay, you are completely wrong. I'm not struggling with anything. I don't need you. And then you just immediately press trash or report as spam, and then you're done, right? There are people who are going to write you an extremely mad email because of something like this. Trust me, we've tried this before, and that's the response that you get. Sure, you might get some interested people, but yeah, it's just a bad idea. Been hearing from a lot of teams that it's getting harder lately with overpriced plans, spotty data quality, and time-consuming implementations. Sure, right? These are absolutely valid pain points. I mean, I see them myself. Look, yeah, a lot of companies are charging overpriced. Data quality can be spotty with bad vendors, and yeah, implementations can be time-consuming. So here we go, right? This makes sense. It's a good way to do it. I think the question just becomes, would it have been better written and better consolidated with this? Because this question then doesn't really do much for me when followed with this, because all you should have done is, hey, we've been hearing a lot of enrichment tools are giving some spotty data and have really overpriced plans. Is that something you're seeing at all, right? You turn it into one sentence, keep it brief, and just show that understanding immediately, right? Now, the next sentence, that's why hundreds of organizations switched to AirScale in the last 6 months. What's happening here is that they're asking a rhetorical question to themselves, and then it's kind of oh, gotcha, right? It's like, this reminds me of the person who ask the teacher for homework at the end of class, right? That's the way that I think of the sentence like this. With AirScale, you get benefit 1, benefit 2, benefit 3. You want to try with right. By this point, I'm not even reading the email. I have closed it, honestly, after the first sentence, but say I even get there, I'm just going to be like, okay, oh, cool, it's another lead email provider. Okay, I have 10 billion of them in my inbox. Oh, you want to give me free leads? Okay, maybe I'll respond, maybe I'll hop in, right? Like, sure. So on this type of an email, I'm going to guess that they're probably getting an interested response every 2,000-ish leads that they're contacting. I think that's probably what they're getting with kind of the static structure. Obviously, I could be wrong. We don't run campaigns for big email data providers. I mean, we're their customers. We don't really need to do any of that. We buy from people like this. So yeah, that's kind of the thing here. So look, with this email, you can make it a lot shorter. What you're selling here is not so much some novel, crazy benefit. The offer here is very simply just, hey, I have good data, or more so what they're doing here is, here's why you shouldn't buy from everybody else, but I'm not really seeing why I should buy from them. Okay, clean emails and phones through Waterfall enrichment with top tier providers. Okay, I can name 10 other providers that do this. Live scraping from multiple sources. Okay, I can name 5 other providers that do this. Built-in AI to structure your data analysis. I'll just use Claude or Claude Code, right? None of these are really just extremely good reasons to buy them, and especially when you're going after a very technical and sophisticated buyer like agency owners, like somebody like me. What you want to do is have a very clear and compelling reason for them to buy, right? So let's actually just create a new email for them. So hi, first name, the main draw of this email that's going to get people to respond is just this, right? 2,000 verified emails or 100 phone numbers, which, speaking of, this credit to phone number is massively discrepancy, especially like they're talking about overpriced plan, but then 400 credits goes to 100 phone numbers. This does not seem cost effective at all. They're contradicting themselves, but I digress. So the whole point of this email is you want people to get onboarded onto your platform. Give it a try, test out the data, because all that really matters is if somebody tries out your data, makes money from it, or just gets interested leads from it, they're probably going to want to pull more data from your platform. So your play with this email is, how do I get somebody into my ecosystem as quickly as you possibly can? So you can just remove everything in this email and just lead with the offer. Would you want 2,000 verified emails of? Now over here you do an AI generated description of ICP. So maybe for me what you could say is, I don't know, like, would you want 2,000 verified emails of B2B SaaS CMOs who are engaging with LinkedIn posts about cold email failures, right? So what they've done now is that they have subtly shown that not only can you get clean emails and this awesome offer, but you're also shown your live scraping capability from all these multiple different sources. So say we just use this as the actual email, right? Maybe you don't even need to do all that, right? And then signature, right? Easy. 2 sentences done. You can take this whole thing and within about 15 minutes, use AI to create within Clay a column that just does this. It is extremely simple to do it. And now your email is a lot more compelling because you start with the offer of, would you want 2,000 free verified, or say we say free. Would you want 2,000 free verified emails of B2B SaaS CMOs who are engaging with LinkedIn posts about cold email failures? Reply yes, and I'll send over a link where you can see and export the list. Signature, right? And you, as a data provider, if you actually have this live scraping capability and can do what you're kind of telling me, then pulling something like this just takes you a matter of 5 minutes. You can get one of your team members, an executive assistant, a virtual assistant, whoever you have working with you, to just go in and pull this list for whoever that prospect is, pull 2,000 verified emails, send it to them, and then there you go. What you do in order to get a bit more of a conversion is you just turn it into a bit of a nurture sequence, right? You send them the list, then a couple days later you say, hey, your email is, how sending to that list go? Any other lists you would find helpful, right? Something easy, right? And then you just follow up with them maybe 1, maybe 2 more times, whatever that is. You can even warm call them right when they kind of respond, so you make sure that they're interested in all that, and you could potentially even set them on a meeting for that sort of thing. For commoditized offers like data, what's really going to make the difference is your data actually as good or better as anybody else's? And is your price cheaper or cheap enough to where your data, if it is better, is affordable and makes sense, and the financial equations and modeling actually work out to make it useful to use? So there you go, right? This is that whole email. And yeah, there you go. That's that. Now let's move on to email number 3. So the most tried and true subject line of all time. I am willing to bet that most of the people watching this video have probably received an email with this exact subject line. I'm no stranger to it either. We've used the subject line. It still works wonders even in this good year of 2026, 5 years after it was invented. So, hey, look, if you cannot come up with a subject line, just use this. It'll get you at least a baseline performance. Still, we're going to try to be a little bit more creative. Now let's read the email. Hi Manav, could my team send over a lead list with 5,000 enterprise sales leaders, the kind of people Rendition typically sells to, complimentary of course. We can target by series stage, size, location, keywords, or even intent signals like tech usage. Would you be interested? So here you go, right? This is actually a decent email. If I was in the market for a data provider or I had issues with my existing data provider, this would be a very strong offer for me to want to actually respond and be like, hey, yep, this makes a ton of sense. And the fact that I didn't respond kind of speaks to how cold email is still a volume game of, are people actually in market for your solution? Because even if you're generating demand using something like this, if I know I have a lead provider that works just fine, I'm thinking about, okay, sure, maybe I'll get these 5,000 leads. It'll probably be the same quality as before. Do I really want to invest the time and go through this whole entire email exchange of, okay, yeah, send me this list, and then they send it to me, then the list isn't good, and then I have to filter through the list and all of it. It's just a headache that's waiting to happen and potentially there. A lot of times your buyers are going to be thinking the same way because they've literally had that situation happen to them before. So a lot of times it just comes down to, is the buyer in the right headspace, right? So obviously that's why a campaign that gets even 3% total of people in your list responding positively is one of the most killer campaigns you could ever see, right? That's one lead every 33 emails that you're sending. If you're getting something like that, I mean, that's right. That's about as good as you could kind of end up being. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what you want. So, yeah, let's look at this again. Is there any rewrite we can do? Probably what we can do here is just be a little bit more specific with the personalization bit, enterprise sales leaders. What I expect they've done is pulled a list of a number of agencies and then just made this blurb as kind of that. Maybe they're potentially spin taxing the actual thing, or they're just targeting by each segment, right? The email itself is actually pretty decent, right? I assume they're probably getting a number of interested responses on this one. What they've done here is very clearly identified what you want to do. I think the problem is that obviously we'd find out if we responded, but it'd be interesting to see if they're sending this lead list over via CSV or if they're actually sending a link to their platform, right? That's Alpha Lead LLC. So let's actually check out their website and see what that looks like and see if we can glean any information about that here. So let's see really quickly. And it looks like their website in the cold email with their email domain doesn't actually lead anywhere. So that's decidedly not the best thing. Me as a suspicious even prospect is not going to really like that. And that in itself can just be a reason why people don't respond. So a lot of times you really need to be as perfect as you can. So yeah, recommendation for them is honestly much more technical. And then make this bit more specific, the 5,000 enterprise sales leaders. So maybe what you should say is 5,000 enterprise sales leaders from companies that have, I don't know, like 50 to 100 employees, just raised their Series A in the United States, who are B2B SaaS companies and have XYZ tech on their stuff, right? So you can make an entire query talking through all the different capabilities that you have, much like we've done here, right? B2B SaaS CMOs engaging with LinkedIn posts about cold email failures, right? In this case, a little bit of complexity is okay because what you're doing is actually just demonstrating that you can do this. And yeah, they've done a really good job on the length of this email too. So I think that's probably the only change I would make is just turning it into a more targeted sentence. And then you can remove this one. And yeah, now it's even more targeted, even more specific. And that gets the kind of reaction of, oh, wow, okay, these people have some sort of an interesting software. Maybe we should take a look at their leads. They also don't mention, one other point is that they don't really mention any other of their value propositions, which for an offer like this, very, very powerful. I might consider in the follow-up here to actually talk about some of their value propositions, because a lot of times their offer is already very strong. Many times it just takes reiterating the offer, but potentially if you actually give a little bit of color about what happens if you genuinely work together, of, hey, our 5,000 lead price is, I don't know, like $50 or whatever that ends up being, right? That makes somebody become interested and say, okay, all right, that's a really interesting price. If your data really holds up and is quality, then hey, we would be more than happy to be customers. So yeah, I think with follow-ups, the best practice, what they can implement is just including a little bit more of their value proposition kind of getting in there. So yeah, I think that'd be interesting. Last point is, don't do this. Everybody knows this is fake. It does nothing for me. I absolutely know for a complete fact that you did not send this email via iPhone. You probably sent it through Instantly.ai or Smartly.ai. Like, yeah, don't do this. This is silly. Everybody knows this is something that like people do manually. So anyway, all in all, I mean, as far as a rating out of 10 goes, I would put this email at a 7.5 or 8 out of 10. I think they're basically there. And they're probably getting a number of replies to something like this because the lead magnet is strong. All right, let's move on to email number 4. So subject line here is, Manav, outsourcing talent for Rendition. Hi Manav, I was on Rendition's site and saw your innovative approach to driving engagements through tailored outreach and advanced market mapping. Okay, so immediately after this sentence, I'm going to press this button, and I'm going to press this button first, then I'm going to press this button, right? This is the most, since what Clay and ChatGPT came out, the most overused line of personalization that there ever possibly could be. I, as a B2B buyer, probably would get 5 of these a day with this exact type of personalization. I'm just begging you, don't do this. Your prospects are going to hate it. Your spam complaint rate's going to go up. It's just not even classy. I mean, are you proud to send this email? Probably not. So what you should do is just try to be a little bit more specific, right? Here's the second sentence. And again, we're not really trying to shit on these people. The goal here is just how can we create a better email? So sentence number 2, curious, have you considered leveraging outsourced international talent to grow Rendition? Okay, that's a question. I mean, it's not really making me think. It's very much yes or no. Like, yes, I personally have leveraged outsourced international talent to grow Rendition. And I know that your company has no reason for me to trust you, and you're probably going to be much more expensive than any of the providers that I work with. So why would I work with you? At VAME, we specialize in providing skilled outsourced talent for cloud services companies, ensuring excellence in performance while significantly cutting down your costs. Okay, here's the problem. I'm not a cloud services company. I am a go-to-market and RevOps advisory company, right? In no way are we a cloud services company. So step 1, before even looking at the copy, is to make sure that your list and targeting is actually on point and that the email copy that you're sending actually includes, when you're saying something specific like this, the right thing that applies to the buyer that you're sending the email to. Because in this case, even if I glossed over this lazy personalization and said, no, you know what, I've never done this before. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to look at this and be like, I'm not a cloud services company. You have no idea what I do. What makes you think that since you have no idea what you do, what makes you think that you can help my business get talent and do the honestly sacred work of placing employees in my company, right? This is a massive ask, especially when you're showing that you are kind of incompetent when it comes to the research. And with cold email, you have all but 5 seconds to prove that you are interesting and competent and understand something about their business. And so, number 1, they already proved that they're just saying something to say something. Yes, I know I have an innovative approach to driving engagements. I know I do advanced market mapping. So what? What does that have to do with outsourced talent? Nothing at all, right? So this is a significant problem. You should make sure in your outbound that you're not doing something like this. Just segment your list a little bit better. You can segment by keywords if you're pulling it off of kind of these mainstream databases like Apollo or ZoomInfo. They come with a lot of keywords. Or you can just do what we do, which is run a very simple Quagent enrichment agent. You can use something very easy like GPT-5 Nano to just run the Quagent. Have it look through the websites, qualify them, and score them on, is this person actually the type of company that we want them to be? If yes, score them above a 70 or whatever that number ends up being, right? So here we go. Anyway, let's continue with this email. At VAME, we specialize in providing skilled outsourced talent for cloud services companies, ensuring excellence in performance while significantly cutting down your costs. For some comparisons, US entry-level digital marketing specialist is 50K versus overseas 3+ years experience in digital marketing, 28.5K annually. So I, as a sophisticated buyer who will have worked with outsourced people, will know that decidedly this is a bit of a high price, right, for somebody overseas, which is actually very crazy to say, even given how low of a number $28,000 a year is annually, right? Like, say that's something we didn't know and this number absolutely jumps out as something that we want, because we're trying to simulate the mind of a buyer who's not exactly me, right? But yeah, say we jump out at this, cool. You can trial our specialist for 1 to 2 weeks before committing. If it's not the right fit, you pay nothing. Worth a conversation. Okay, cool. So what this email is doing is absolutely presenting me with an offer. This is the offer. You get to try out our specialist for 1 to 2 weeks before committing. We'll give you cheap overseas labor with 3 years plus in experience in digital marketing. Okay, cool. Me as the buyer, I'm thinking, okay, international talent. Last time I hired international talent, they bungled up our entire data flow launch, and then my CEO was on my back about it, and then I had to go talk to the whole meeting about it. I don't know if I want to do that. Or maybe the thought is, I don't know if we can get the approvals in place to actually get one of these people actually hired, something like that, right? So, look, I mean, what you're doing here is kind of just raising logistical questions that you're forcing your lead to answer. So what you're doing is kind of leaving your prospect with more questions than answers here. So what I would say is write an email that makes it easy for them to want to jump through these hoops and go to bat for you. Because me as a buyer, I'm going to look at this and look through the 5 other emails I got about this exact offer this week and say, okay, what separates any of you from anybody else? Okay, one of you has 3 years of experience, one of you is 28K. Then you're racing to the bottom because you're positioning completely incorrectly. So now that we've done kind of talking through what they're doing wrong in this email, let's actually go in and do a full rewrite. So here's what this is going to look like. Hi, Manav. I want you to just use first name. So now, just to kind of walk you through this, right? Intention of the email. What is it that we want from our buyer? We want them to know that we have exceptional talent that you need, evidenced by a clear gap or public show of need, and we're cheaper than every other alternative in the market, and our talent has worked in your type of business exactly in the past. So there's no ramp up time, no super annoying trading cycles, and we make approval internally extremely easy because our talent just works, right? This is the intention of the email. You want your prospect, as this company, Veeam, to walk away knowing that, okay, they have exceptional talent that we actually need. They're filling a gap. They recognized our problem and now they're actually solving it. Okay, cool. They know that we need them. They're cheaper than everybody else in the market. Their talent has experience in my exact type of business. So I, as the buyer, I'm not going to be wasting a bunch of time ramping up this person, teaching them how the business works, how the lingo works, how everything goes. Because the last thing you want is you hire talent and then you go in for 90 days and you're just talking through all these different improvements and adjustments and teaching somebody the full ropes, and all you want to do is just get into the business of making money, which is what you as the buyer, the recipient of the email, is actually all about, right? That's the whole point of hiring talent and even running a business in the first place. So yeah, now let's actually go in and rewrite this email. So, hi, first name. We Rather, we want to start the email by writing it about the prospect, right? So the prospect meaning the recipient of the email. How's the search for title posted in job posting going? How's the search for title posted in job posting going, right? Clear, shows that you did a little bit of homework, you understand they have a title that they're looking for, and so long as you have any of your outsourced talent that fit the bill, there you go. How's the search for title posted in job posting going? Obviously, you have to scrape this is custom. I have candidate who did work and exact tech stack day to day or responsible. Right, so I have a current candidate who has exact experience you're looking for in. Would you want to try out completely for free for 2 weeks? Maybe we can write this a different way. Would you want this candidate to do hire them? Be about right? Quick and easy, very simple, right? You know exactly what they're trying to do. How's the search for title posted and job posting going? So this is exactly showing that you identify their need. I have a candidate who has the exact experience you're looking for in, and you scrape this bit from the job posting and you can use AI to very quickly write it in. So maybe that turns into, I have a candidate who has the exact experience you're looking for in PyTorch, working through machine learning, architecture, building XYZ LLM algorithms, which they've done for products touching X million people. Right? So like this is maybe one of the blurbs that you do. You can obviously kind of adjust it, make it as short as you want, as long as you want, just based on the actual experience of the candidate, right? If you hire them, their annual salary is about 28.5K as they're an overseas professional. Would it be helpful if the candidate completed a free project for company so you can see how they work? Quick and easy, that's it. It's, hey, we have somebody who has the exact experience that you want. They're overseas, their cost is extremely low. We can give them to you right now. And would it be helpful if they did a free work of your choosing the exact project so you can see how they work, right? Keep it easy, keep it clean. This is exactly what you kind of want to do. And I, as the buyer, get the feeling that, okay, you know exactly what I need. You have the exact person that's going to fit my need. Okay, awesome. Let's give it a shot. Yeah, I'd love a free project from this person. I'd be super excited to see what they can do. I guarantee you'll get responses like this, because if you identify the need that your prospect company has and you actually bridge the gap and solve it in this way, then it's just a no-brainer. People are going to respond, and they're going to want to work with you and see what you've got. People aren't averse to buying, right? I want to get that very, very clear. People are not averse to buying things over cold email. They are averse to wasting money on money and time on incompetent vendors who assume that the business needs them more than they need the other, right? It's like the prospect does not need you. They are your prospect because they've done something right without you, right? So all you need to do is just see that, hey, you have a gap. I think you need this solution. We can bridge your gap and provide this solution. Do you want something completely free that shows that we're very competent and good at what we do? Yes? Okay, awesome. And look, this is the easiest way that you can generate a customer, because, hey, you're already offering a full 2-week free pilot. You're doing the whole onboarding, everything like that. No, this is the extremely quick way you, as the actual email sender, have a much easier time doing this, because, hey, all you're doing is one free project. You give it to them, they get the project done. Easy. It's a 3 to 5 hour total commitment, rather than spending 1 to 2 weeks doing the whole onboarding, whole interview process, everything. Just figure out the candidate that fits the job posting that you're going after. Give it to the company and say, hey, we have it ready for you. Let's do this one assignment. You like it? Done. Easy, right? And that's how that is. So we will call this email taken care of. Next, let's move on to email number 5. So emails number 5 and 6 are actually emails that were in my spam folder. And I did want to briefly discuss why they're in the spam folder too. So very quickly, let's go over the email. Subject line is Rendition Investment. Okay, so company name investment. Hi Manav, we have a family office who has a strong interest in making an investment into Rendition space. Can we set up a time to discuss this opportunity? There you go. Okay, so first things first, I'm looking at this domain, and now I know exactly why it's in spam. Don't use like a TLD like .shop, right? That's crazy. That's not going to work. The other thing is, something like this is just so clearly templatized that you, as the recipient of the email, know that either there's no such thing as some family office who has some strong interest in making an investment into my space. Like, it's not going to work. Most likely what's going on is that these people are business brokers. They're just saying that maybe one of their clients wants to buy some company and then just parlaying that into whatever, right? It's like, it's honestly a classic case of a little bit of misleading marketing, but whatever, who am I to judge and talk bad about other people? So what this is very simply unpersonalized, highly templatized, and it concludes the very clear spam words of strong interest in making an investment into Rendition space. So first off, what's my space? Tell me what it is. Do you know what it is? Clearly not. That's why they haven't written it out. And can we set up a time to discuss this opportunity? This just gives me Nigerian prince vibes, like this sentence as it is, right? I don't even see this type of sentence getting used anymore. None of the past emails that we even sent were anything like it, right? I want to give it a try, right? This is the type of call to action that is actually getting into your inbox. It's custom, it's specific, it's interesting. It's not, can we set up a time to discuss this opportunity? So number one, opportunity is a spam word. Strong interest in making an investment is also a spam word, right? What they've done here is done everything they possibly can to be a spammer. So anyway, how would we rewrite this email? So first things first, let's take a look at their website and see if there's anything interesting about their offer that perhaps we didn't see. And it looks like their website doesn't even exist. So first things first, as a buyer, I'm just not responding to this because I'm not going to take a call with somebody who wants to apparently invest in my space who doesn't have a website, right? It doesn't make any sense. It's a big disconnect. Anyway, so first things first, what we'll do with these guys is family office email. What we're going to do is, first things first, what's the intention? Intention here is get someone to respond and see if you can broker their business and get a commission if they get acquired. If they get business. Just assuming this is what their offer is. I mean, more than likely that's what it is, because actual family offices who are real families with real capital, generated most of the time through entrepreneurship, don't need to be doing this type of outbound because they have too much deal flow to sift through. Maybe there's the occasional family office that is quite savvy and will actually go and set up a cold email system. But for the most part, I, as a buyer, I'm not really going to believe that that's the case. I'm going to buy into the fact that any real family office is most likely getting deal flow that is actually likely to close and not really nurturing weird, cold opportunities without personalization. So, number one, believability factor, completely off. So, get somebody to respond to see if you can broker their business. What are the requirements to make this happen? Right? The requirements to make this happen are: prove you're a real family office and have actual AUM, like assets under management. Prove that you have done this before and that this is not a waste of time. Tell me why you want to acquire my business specifically, and then actually provide some information about how you want to proceed, other than spending 30 minutes of my time getting introduced, right? A lot of times what a buyer is going to think is that, okay, yeah, I could get on a call. What's going to happen when I get on a call? Gee, I wonder. I think they're going to ask me discovery questions. Oh, when was the last time you talked about selling your business? Oh, what's your EBITDA? Like, I don't want to leak all this information, so no, I'm not going to get on a call with you, right? There is such an aversion to wasting 30 minutes to an hour of your time. Why are you playing into it? Easiest thing you can do is just not. All you have to do is send them more information and let the prospect decide for themselves. With this type of an approach, you can send infinite volume and it'll work just fine. But you want to, if you're actually optimizing for any sort of success, send volume that will result in people actually responding by just having some factor of believability. So now let's get started with the rewrite. Hi, first name. Okay. So first things first, we want to prove you're a real family office and have actual AUM. We're family office name. All right, that's FO, family office name. Reaching out of, and then in parentheses, XUM. We've invested into companies like A, B, and C in the say you're reaching out to a consulting management consulting. Raise there from A. Or maybe rather than this, I mean, it's not a value-added private equity investor. Instead, what they're saying is, right? Okay, so now you've just seen me written this out. What we're doing here is, number one, proving we are a real family office and have actual AUM, right? Simply, you could just start it with we're family office name, XXX million AUM. We've invested into companies like A, B, and C in management consulting. Management consulting companies. And typically invest at a 4x EBITDA multiple. So what you've done here is, number one, proven you're an actual real entity that has actual assets under management. And two, use the finance lingo to show that you are an actual finance company, right? You make investments, you use words like multiple and EBITDA and everything. If you are the CEO who's getting this email, you're going to know that, okay, EBITDA is a number that we track. It's in the GAAP. That's generally accepted accounting principles. You know that's the case. And maybe you can actually Google companies A, B, and C, whatever that is, and just look at what these companies are, see that, okay, they've done this with similar things. Maybe there's something that we can do here. And this is the type of thing that makes somebody excited to read it, right? Unless you don't want to get acquired by any stretch of the imagination, there's not going to be a world where you read this type of thing and say, you know what, I hate these guys, screw them, I don't want to, like, no, you're going to look at this and be like, okay, this is interesting. We're doing something good if somebody has some sort of an acquisition or equity financing interest with us, right? So what we've done is we've simply proven that you're a real family office and have actual AUM, and prove that you've done this before and that this is not a waste of time. Next, you're telling them why you want to acquire my business specifically. And that's what you do in this sentence. We'd like to explore if company, which like for us would be Rendition, is open to a potential acquisition or value-added equity partnership. We're looking at Rendition specifically because we think that Rendition's AI-backed market mapping algorithm can be scaled to $500 million a year, right? Whatever that number is going to be. Want to hear about our work with A, B, and C and what the next steps would look like. Now, me as a founder, first thing I'm going to do, obviously, is just check out their website, right? And just look at the way that they talk about themselves, the work that they've done, their press releases, see if there's any public SEC filings, and just see if that they're actually a real family office and not a bunch of scammers. That's the first thing that I'm going to do if I'm actually getting this email. But if everything checks out, I mean, why wouldn't you respond to this email? All you're doing is just seeing what the next steps could look like for somebody who has clearly run a value-added equity partnership and clearly is showing you a way that you can either liquidate your holdings or potentially make more money through a value-added equity partnership where you liquidate some of your equity and the business makes more money, so then you're sharing in a larger number of profit, right? So this is how we would do it because it proves every single one of these, right? It just hits this requirement. So yeah, it's getting a bit late, so the sleep is on, but whatever. Anyway, yeah, so that's how we do this email. This is the way that we would rewrite this. All right, last email, this one, it's the tried and true. I'd be surprised if we didn't manage to get one of these emails today. Quick question, Manav. Okay, I bet every single one of you of watching these probably got one of the emails with this subject line today alone. Anyway, this was also in spam. Hi, Manav, your business outreach could scale with a private mail server. Avoid Gmail/365 limits. How many emails a day? How many domains do you use? Best you. Okay, so, and then there's this. All right, so what problems to point out first? So the whole email is problematic. First thing first, this is problematic. I'm not going to be responding to a cold email from a random Fiverr person, right? Number one. Second, your business outreach, why is business capitalized? This is just incorrect punctuation. Your business outreach could scale with a private mail server. Okay, sure. I know what IMAP is. I mean, I'm a cold email guy. Like, yes, sure. Every single time I've tried SMTP infrastructure, it has been a colossal failure. So you're really kind of fighting an uphill battle here with this exact offer. Anyway, avoid Gmail and Outlook 365 limits. Okay. How many emails a day? How many domains do you use? See, this is quite presumptuous because it's expecting me to just blindly trust and have faith that, okay, yeah, you know what, I think I'm going to give this random guy who ended up in spam, probably using his own email infrastructure, with all my money and all my email infrastructure, and we're going to end up, yeah, it's some dream scenario. Maybe we'll get a lead every 50,000 emails we send. Like, it's a no-brainer. There's a massive amount of cognitive dissonance that this email is creating. Honestly, first things first, I wouldn't even look at their website if I got this email. If I was seriously considering it, I wouldn't even get to the point where I look at their website. But because we're here, let's take a look. Okay, so the website isn't like bad by any means, right? They've included a number of projects, happy clients, ongoing projects, years of experience. Like, cool, right? I think that they should probably have some sort of an outcome-based thing, but I digress. So these are all here. This all makes sense. Cool. Right? It's there. It's fine. It's social proof. It's a good website. The problem is this actual email is just creating so much distrust that I'm 99% of the time not even going to see the website. So anyway, let's go in and rewrite the email. So here we go. Mail server rewrite. Okay, so what's the intention here? We want them to respond to the email to buy our email infrastructure, right? Clean, simple, clear. What is required to do so? What's required to do so is prove that your email infrastructure works. Prove that why it's better to go with you rather than go with right vendor or switch from who I already have, and prove that you are not a scammer and that this is not a waste of time, and provide and show or tell me why your is so powerful and unique that I'm missing out on using it. All right, let's rewrite this. So here's the thing, right? From an ethical standpoint, like this is just so bad, right? This message landed in spam. They probably used their own email infrastructure to make this happen. I mean, yeah, it's crazy. Like, I wouldn't even do outbound for a company like this, but in the spirit of the video, let's just do the rewrite anyway. So first things first, they need to fix their product, because if their emails are landing in spam, that doesn't really inspire confidence. And even me, the cold emailer, that we should be rewriting their emails and that we should expect anything crazy, right? So anyway, first things first, they really just got to fix their work. Although more than likely they might have landed in spam because they provided direct links with these three. That is a big no-no in your cold emails. Do not do it. Do not send links. Even if it's a LinkedIn link, even if it's google.com, right? Don't send links in the email. It's just bad practice, and this isn't adding any value to me whatsoever. If I really wanted to know, I would just go to their website, right? Because that's theoretically where your information is supposed to be. So first change, remove all the links and just this whole signature. Get rid of all of it. Get rid of sent from my iPhone. It does nothing. It adds more length, and it just increases your chances of going to spam. Why do it in the first place? Additionally, fix this. Anyway, let's just rewrite the email because we've got to do it from scratch. So job 1 is fix email infra so it lands in the primary. Get rid of links. Okay. Hi, first name. So what you're trying to do is just very clearly prove that it works. First way to do it is by landing in the primary inbox. Then the email needs to do all of these, right? This is kind of what the thing has to do, because the only way you prove your infrastructure works is by getting to the inbox. Have you seen So we're also making up a bit of a value proposition here, which it's more than likely not the case with these guys because they landed in spam. But a big thing that you want to look out for as a cold emailer is copy fatigue. So if you get your winning campaign and you continue to run the campaign for a long time without changing the copy, the spam filters are going to catch on to it. So perhaps their SMTP has some magic way around it, right? That can do it, because there is email infrastructure that can kind of help you get around copy fatigue through very intelligent sorting and IP rotation and kind of distributing the sends across a time frame such that it all looks and actually is independent and can help you get away from copy fatigue. We have infrastructure that actually does that for us, right? That's what our stuff does. So say that these guys somehow can do the same thing as our own in-house infrastructure. This is the value proposition I'd want to use if I were them, which is anti-copy fatigue email infrastructure. Okay. Right, so this is a very exact situation. This is the exact type of buyer look you're looking for, because they will have seen this exact change happens, because this happens when you use Google inboxes and you run into copy fatigue. This is exactly what happens. Okay, so here's the email that you would do. Hi, first name. Have your Google Inbox's reply rate declined from a 3% reply rate right after warm-up to 1 to 1.5% after running your winning campaign for a few weeks? It's caused by copy fatigue, spam filters recognizing the copy from your specific inboxes and sending it to spam. We've built email infrastructure that maintains those 3% reply rates you see right after warm-up for 8 to 10 months with no copy fatigue. Would you want to try our inboxes and keep your best performing campaigns running longer at peak performance? Right, so this is essentially just keeping it easy. It's a very clear value proposition. It tells me that there's something interesting about the work that you're doing, and that you actually know something that is highly technical and very unique to the work that you're doing, and is clearly something that I should know about and should at least be interested in. And so that's the whole point of this cold email, is to very clearly do all of it, right? So prove that your email infrastructure works. Number one, get to the primary inbox. Number two, prove why it's better to go with you than a tried and true vendor. Why? Because we maintain these 3% reply rates with no copy fatigue. Prove that you're not a scammer. Who is a scammer who's telling you all about copy fatigue and the technical issues behind cold email and all this stuff, right? It's like, which scammer knows the exact situation that you're going through? Maybe some of them, right? but I guess that can be the case. Maybe what you can do is, in the PS, we helped company X send Y emails per day, and they get XYZ interested X% firing from our inboxes. And as long as this is good enough, and I mean, this is a clear indicator of how good your deliverability is, right? You can take your average customer and kind of just put this in there and give a realistic stat of what that's going to look like. So there you go. Now we've kind of checked this box too. And show or tell me why your infrastructure is so powerful and unique that I'm missing out on using it. This does that, right? You show them what the actual problem is, and then you solve the problem by showing them why your email infrastructure is so powerful and so unique that you need to do it, right? And there you go. That's the email. So that's exactly what that looks like. And yeah, so just want to take the time to say thank you for watching all the way through to the end. I know this was a bit of a long video, kind of going through all 6 of these emails. If you have any questions about any of these emails and what they might look like, just feel free to give me a ping. More than happy to send you over the raw document with all 6 of these email rewrites. And yeah, if you're looking at doing outbound yourself and want somebody like us to do it for you, feel free to click the link in the description and book a call. I'll be there. We can spend a few minutes together. More than happy to take a look at your scripts and give you any feedback, anything like that. Let us know. And yeah, appreciate you watching through, and thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you now. Bye.